Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
How's it going, Steve?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not bad. Another, I don't know, chillier start than normal, but yesterday was beautiful. A little windy, but today it's
I got flash flooded on twice. I said it wasn't a
I
flood,
know.
but
Yesterday I was doing stuff where I was trying to fix the lawnmower, and all of a sudden it starts raining. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I left that appointment in London, left there, and it's raining. And text Andrew, and she's like, oh, it's not raining here. So I was like, oh. So
yeah, it was like
spot showers.
came out of the middle of nowhere, but it was heavy. Like it was sunny out. I was out there working on the fencing, and I got soaked, and then I got cold. So then I had to go change my shirt, and then that's a 30-minute process because then you gotta get something to drink, relax for a few minutes, watch another YouTube video about how to build a split rail fence or two. Got back outside, started working, and then bam, rained on me again.
Good times. You'd be so happy and proud. I moved the chicken coop last night because they're getting chickens today, and recorded it so that for Farming Fridays we'll have something fresh this
Nice.
week. Plus, after the show, we're supposed to go out and do some fencing out there and in the garden, and so we'll have some of that stuff, I'm sure, too. So
Be interesting to see if we get any views on our Farming Friday videos.
you got a few.
A lot of people say it's relaxing. It's just gotta have something to catch the eye. Maybe I gotta work on the description or the title, something that'll catch somebody's eye. But they're relaxing videos, especially the way that we're shooting them, or we're trying to shoot them.
We need to hire some gorgeous models to do this work. That would
Uh,
bring the views up.
I don't think so. I think it's just good farming work that'll bring the views up.
Farming girls.
There might be some out there.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
at this day and age, is anybody working anymore?
That's $1 million question. I've asked a lot of people. No one has an answer to it. So it's like, hey, I don't know how. I'm seriously, I'm not joking. I've asked like dozens of people, and because everyone has the same thing, like no one works, no one wants to work, no one's working. Well, when all the
Inflation
incentives,
doesn't help either.
no, but when all the incentives for like at one point it was smarter financially to not work because the government, like the state, was paying you, it was like $1,000 a week to stay home, and that was during COVID, but that's all gone away. So it's like, where'd these people go? Like,
No idea.
I don't know. Like, you can only live in mom's basement so long before you can't afford to live in mom's basement anymore. Like,
Even that, I mean, it's expensive for heating oil right now.
oh,
At
we're
the end
gonna
of winter, I was like, I'll take 100 gallons.
we'll get into that. We're gonna call it the Let's Go brand new segment. That'll come later in the show. So if you're, we'll have our local stuff first, so that way the people that tune in for that can watch that, and then when I go off the rails a little bit later in the show, and we lose half the people, so heads up for the ones that want to see that train wreck, then that's a good time to pay attention to the whole show today because the Let's Go Brandon segment is going to be a little fired up. So we'll see. Probably get a
You
visit
get
from.
fired up today. You're hot.
I'm a little fired up, yeah, and it's in the morning too, and I'm fired up. I was fired up last night. Uh, Probably get a visit from the FBI, but bring it on. They don't do their job anyway, so.
I
But
guess all just to scare people from participating.
yeah, I'm
I
not
mean, some
worried.
of it might be true. I say that, and I'll be the first one to get a visit tonight. But uh,
Eh,
I don't know. I don't think that
maybe Nikki will come running out with a shotgun again.
yeah, she will.
So let's talk about our local stuff first, though. So that way, some of the people that actually care about the local stuff and don't care about what we say after that can listen. So the Newport Cal Ripken Baseball League is looking for umpires. I know we've talked about this a few times. I think with Miller and
At the high school,
at the high
middle
school.
level, they're looking
Yep.
for.
So it pays $45 a game. So if you want to reach out to the Cal Ripken League, Matt, I'm not sure, but Anthony D. Padova, yeah, not Padova. Padova's another guy. Yeah. Anyways, the Cal Ripken League. I apologize.
Well,
But
they can look up Cal Ripken League and find a local contact.
Anthony
right there.
DePaulo,
Anthony.
excuse me, he shared it. So he's the one that shared it, but the Cal Ripken League. So you can find it on. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll get a contact number, or it's on Facebook. So, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that know a parent that's kids playing, Cal Ripken League. So they're looking for umpires. The let's see, the town office is closed today for training. Um,
So if you're watching this and you went there, you probably already know.
Yeah, the time you watch this,
It'd be
hopefully,
about 12 or 1 o'clock.
yeah,
by
hopefully it was
the
in the
time
afternoon. You
uploads.
planned on going, because if not, you're like, what the heck happened here? Kindergarten info night, May 27th. It's at 5 o'clock at Richard's School. Um, so if you have a child going in the kindergarten next year that's potty trained, that's not a stipulation. I'm just throwing that part out there. But they have a informational night on the 27th. No, excuse me, the 23rd. I can't even read my own writing. 23rd at 5 o'clock at Richards. And yeah, they'll have information about kindergarten and getting your child prepped for kindergarten for the fall. Splish Splash will give you a car bath. That's my favorite saying of any of these things I've seen from the school. That is going to be this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Irvin for the class of 2025. And if you need your car washed, I think it's donation based, so, or it's cheap. So go down, get your car washed. I have a lot of vehicles I probably should bring down there, but we have to go to Boston and get that Porsche.
We do.
I know. I still haven't talked to you about this except for on the
What
air.
day is that on?
Saturday, prom.
Oh, you're going to go down and pick it up Saturday morning?
Yeah, like early.
We'll be able to make it back in time, no doubt.
Yeah, hopefully I have a license come Monday. Chief's gonna be really mad at me. So then on Friday the 27th, so next Friday, there's a middle school track meet, and they're looking for someone, a group in town that can run the concession stand. And it sounds like all the benefits of that would be for that group. So if it was Cal Ripken League baseball want to run a concession stand, it would be for that, or whatever your group is. If you want to reach out to PJ or someone at the rec center, I saw that last night come up, and so they probably don't have enough people to run that. And the middle school track meet is supposed to be a big thing, I guess, for this. So if you're available and you want to jump in on that,
It's this
reach
Saturday?
no, that's next Friday,
Next Friday.
the 27th. And man, now I'm trying to find the stupid screen I just had up here. Where did it go? I want to tell you about.
While you're looking for that, they mentioned it at the school board meeting last week, and then I bumped into Miss Opolinski last night, and they're still looking for a construction manager to oversee the construction of the new CTE at the high school. So if you or anyone that you know are qualified and meet the qualifications, that job posting should be out there, looking for a construction manager to oversee the construction of the new CTE.
Perfect. Do you know if they're still, because I know she mentioned it last meeting, and then I meant to follow up with her, but they're still selling plants, aren't they?
I don't know what it goes through, but I think yes.
Yeah, so they're still selling plants, part of the horticulture, agriculture program at the school. So if you're looking for some plants, they, I think they got them from Bonnie's Farm down in Leominster, and it sounded like it was pretty successful so far. They had some good numbers. I mean, she said that was like a gross cost, not net, because they bought the plants and stuff. But yeah, if you're looking for some plants, reach out to it's going to benefit the kids at the school. So check that out. Today, so I know the boys baseball are playing at Hopkins. It was supposed to be yesterday. It got postponed to today at 4. Varsity track is at Fall Mountain at 4. Unified tracks at 3:30 at Fall Mountain. Lebanon versus the varsity softball is a home game at 4 o'clock. And let's see. The rest of it's just practice and no practice for middle school. So those are the few games going on today. I know when I drove by yesterday, the softball team was winning like 5-0. I don't know what the end score was, but it sounded like they're having a pretty good game. So, and I know middle school girls played yesterday. I don't know what the outcome on that was, but
I don't either. I was getting rained on, and then I went to the.
I know I was gonna go down there, but I was like, man, it keeps raining, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that, so I didn't go. But
It was just raining up here.
I know,
Newport.
yeah, like rain here, rain there, rain. It's kind of a funny day, but and then on Saturday it's gonna be 92, hot and hazy. They're humid, so
Now, I'm actually getting hot in here now. It was 42 at 6 o'clock when I got up this morning, and now I feel like it's about 92 in here with a sweatshirt on.
well, you do have a sweatshirt on. I'm wearing a New Hampshire shirt today. Live free or die.
That's nice. Live free.
Live free or die.
I don't think people really think about that phrase anymore. I've went off on that before, so I won't do it.
I don't think they
again.
think about it, but that's still the motto of this state, and it'll.
Like the implications of it are basically give me freedom, give me death. Right?
Give me liberty, give me
give me
yeah.
liberty, give me death.
Patrick Henry.
Live free or die. In other words, it's better to die trying to be free than to live underneath someone else's rule where you don't get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Boiled down to its basics. I mean, there's obviously laws in there that you got to follow as a society
Right.
because some people do not share the same values, but our country has a value, sense of a moral code. People are forgetting about it.
Yeah. I see that. I like your hat today, though.
Thank you. Zeta got it at I think it was a job fair. So I'm borrowing from Zeta's trucker hat from 1982. I probably could be a coach on a little league softball, or not softball, little league baseball team that I played on.
It's a Ruger hat, though. It's fitting for our community.
Yeah, Ruger's a big part of our community.
It is.
Do a lot of good stuff for.
So you're gonna run out of hats this week, you think, or?
Nah, I still have 4 or 5 that I know of. There might be a box down there. I might be able to find some. But in Hawaii, there's a lot of moisture in the air. It's very humid there, so I had to throw away like a box of hats because I never took them out. And then I left them in the box in the closet, and there's just too much moisture in there.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like the hay I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, went to lift the hay bale over and kind of hit the fence, bent it a little bit. But I found a spot that I was like, oh, I was supposed to put a post there, and I forgot to because the seam wasn't quite. Because I don't like the panels are 16 feet long, and I don't care how good you are. Okay, let's put them right where they're supposed to be. But then you hit a rock or something, and so.
And one of the videos I watched yesterday, the guy said one of the benefits of using a cattle panel is that if that happens, you can just move it over. You don't have to try to do it end to end.
Right.
He actually recommends not doing it end to end because if you try to plan it that way,
it's just not going to work.
It's not going to work. So it's funny that I watched that video or a video yesterday saying that, and then you found that experience.
Yeah, it's funny because just before the show yesterday, Andrew sent me a snap, and it was the cow that was out, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But the back of my fence isn't good, and I need to redo all that, but I don't want to go spend time fixing it all good because it's just literally going to get ripped out, and in a couple weeks probably. And so she managed.
Kind of like the situation up on Maple Street.
Right.
You don't want to repave it.
Well, except my cows aren't going to die if the fence comes down versus the pothole if someone hits it with a motorcycle. But
they could, though, if they get hit by a truck going down that road. Or the truck will at least get annihilated. The cow might survive, depending on which
She was good. She stayed in the yard.
She stayed in the yard.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, there's metaphors or simile, analogy is spot on.
Listen, if you're up on Springfield Road, you have to pay attention because there could be a cow, a pig, a goat. Any of those could run out in front of you.
No, I feel like I go slow down that road, and I still feel like I'm going fast.
I know the town's done a great job with it though this year. It's actually funny because that road didn't get as muddy as the road I live on, so it's I look forward to.
But you actually have a hill there too to help drain it because it kind of flows down.
Yeah, there's a hill by Hubert's, which is weird because they should have brought the asphalt up another 100 feet to the top of the hill. I'm kind of hoping I haven't looked because I've been curious with what's going to happen with paving. When are they going to pave Springfield Road? Not the dirt part, but the asphalt part. That's absolutely horrible. But I'm scared to look because it's probably not it's not going to be something. Yeah, it's probably not going to be something I want to see. It's probably going to be out of ways because it's not, it's not a big travel road like Maple Street or Barton Whitney Road or whatever. But it's getting pretty rough. Sometimes I think you guys should just take the asphalt up and you could at least grade it and just be dirt. I think sometimes that would be easier.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It feels like you're going faster because you hit a bump and you're like, wait, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah, and you have to go, honestly, you probably have to go slower on the asphalt than the dirt because the dirt's smooth now and the asphalt's bumpy and got holes in it and nothing like Maple Street. But
yeah, it's nice back there, peaceful.
It is. It is.
Away from... just far enough away from town to give you some peace and quiet, but close enough to still get in. Kind of like up here.
Yeah, it's nice up here. It's quiet up here.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. So, trying to think, what else do we want to talk about before we get into anything else?
Well, the school recognized the top 10 seniors last night.
Yeah, and I was trying to find a list, and I couldn't. I know Zeta was one of them. I know Riley Scarin, Bruce Ashley. Adrian no,
Adria.
Gonzalez, right?
Yep.
Who is valedictorian, correct?
Yep.
So those are 4. I don't know the other 6, unfortunately, but
Annalie.
Annalie was one.
Annalie Hall.
Congratulations, Annalie. That's
Goes
awesome.
by Anna now.
Anna, yep. Try and get her and at least on the show at some point. Keep trying this thing, and it's like, come on.
Well, Anna is the manager of the store there at the school as part of her business class.
Yeah,
It'd
we
be
could
good
talk
to
about that.
see if she's learned anything. Yeah, I'm sure she has, but just to get her perspective on.
Was that Bianca Wilkinson?
Yeah, Brianna was
Brianna,
one.
excuse me. Brianna, I'm sorry.
Reese Johnson.
Reese Johnson. So you were there. You should know him. All right.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Yeah, is that all of them?
No, you're still, I think, 1 or 2 short.
I don't know. I kept a program to send to my mom, but it was nice because NCTV. At least they said they appreciate NCTV being there.
Yeah.
I looked on the schedule. I didn't see it, so it'll be broadcast hopefully on NCTV shortly, or it'll be available
Right. On their website or
on their
whatever.
website. So
So-
look for that.
So we,
But it was nice for those because what they did is the students got to invite a teacher that had an impact on them,
nice.
and so there were a lot of teachers that got up and said something about their students, and it's good to see that because
It is.
you know, not that I'm against going and showing up at school board meetings and all that other good stuff as a citizen. Generally speaking, though, it's not always positive, but this was a positive experience. And then, as we work as a community to get the school better, it's nice to see that all these kids have succeeded. They have plans for the future, and it's just good. And they have bright futures ahead of them, and they're not the only ones. But as a remnant of the old system for recognizing hard work, which I agree with, and I hope that they continue this.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
it was
I mean,
nice to, but to hear the teacher's perspective on the growth of the kids and the expectations that they have of them. It's good that it's seen, and hopefully it'll be out there on NCTV shortly, so everybody else can get a chance to watch it. Or
No, we have some really great kids in our school district or
And
in our
teachers.
town and teachers. And yeah, it's right. You hear the negative stuff, and that's why we've kind of made a point on the show to talk about a lot of positive things and events to try to get more people out to go to stuff. And obviously this was a private thing for the families and the teachers last night, but there's other things coming up. There's graduation coming up. There's prom where a lot of the community does come out to see the the kids and stuff, and we need that.
yeah, it's a good experience, and I would challenge anybody that still lives here that didn't have a good experience in school is to look beyond that and see what good comes from it, so they can encourage their kids to, like, hey, I'll tell you I had a bad experience, but do these 3 or 4 things and it'll be a good experience and it'll set you up. Like, right, you graduated from high school, you didn't go to college, but you got out there and you started working hard, you set goals for yourself.
Right.
And that's really, I think at the end of the day, is I bet if we were to ask all 10 of those that were up there, they set high goals for themselves.
Right.
Probably in the 9th grade, if not the 10th, maybe even before that. And this is a fruition of those goals, is seeing that their goals were met, because I don't think all of them, maybe all of them are going to college, but they talked about, and we talked about it before, Adra's scholarship that she got
Yeah.
fully paid for.
Yeah. 300 chosen out of, what was it, 37,000 or something like that. Huge accomplishment. Huge. Like that's awesome. I mean that's a Newport student. That's not a Hanover student. No, that's a Newport
And
student.
I bet a lot of these kids, they didn't talk about it, but have scholarships or academic achievement scholarships. And even the kids that are not in the top 10, I know there are others that are going to college that have academic achievements and scholarships that they're getting as well. So
No, absolutely.
it's good to see. This is the highlight of the culmination, right? We want to work on having more opportunities available. It may not be college. I mean, we've talked about it before. The CTE is amazing, and they're going to add on, build basically a whole new facility for the most part, and improve the facilities that they have. So it's an exciting time because I know when we toured the high school that Zeta would have attended in Kentucky, they had air conditioning. I mean, you could go in the air conditioning path and basically graduate ready to go out and work on air conditioners.
Yep.
I mean, it was just like going to the old commercials, ITT
Yep.
Technical Institute.
Yeah.
It was like that, and with this CTE improvement, I see us getting more and more like that.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad because so when I was in school, and I know it's Claremont's not sure what they're going to do with their CTE, which is very unfortunate because I can't see how Claremont hasn't had the same benefits that we have had um, in our school. And I mean, when I was in school, like Newport had like it had some health stuff. It had the salon, so cosmetology. It had auto, ag. We didn't have welding part of the CTE, but um, and there's probably a few missing. But then if you went to Claremont, because they had more space, there was a building trades, there was a machine program for like machinists, there was plumbing, heating, AC, and a bunch of others over there. So it was a combination of, so depending on what you did for class, you might go to Claremont and do your CT there, and some of their students would come here. And it was a great thing we had going for a long time. And now Claremont, I think, still kind of not sure what they're doing with there. So, but it looks like we're obviously keeping ours and expanding ours. I don't know what will happen with that part of it, which it's unfortunate because hopefully they can work something out. Because if you are a student that wants to go get in building trades, they had a good building trades program. They had a good plumbing, heating program. Like they had all these programs that, and we know the importance of trade schools now and trade or just jobs in the trades in general. Is
There's a
huge.
shortage for them, and what a perfect opportunity to graduate and go right to work,
Right. Exactly.
or take a month off or whatever and enjoy yourself
Right.
as much as you can, and then go to work. But most, I think, that are going to go to work are going to go to work.
Right.
Mariano, I think, was the last name of one of the other students. I can't remember her first name. Mariano,
I'm not sure.
female.
I don't know if it's because I don't know. I don't know why the school didn't post it yet. I'm sure they will. Maybe we're just ahead of it on that.
I should have brought the flyer in here.
You should
That's
have
on
brought the
me.
flyer in here.
If I left your name off, I apologize.
It's all Steve Morris's fault. Then
But
again, we would-
congratulations to those students and all the others that are graduating.
yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to the top 10. Congratulations to all the kids graduating.
Big next few weeks coming up.
Yeah, and you've had these students have had a rough last 2 years,
Yes.
especially, and so to still achieve where you are now, and it's big. So
It is.
congratulations to those guys. And I don't know, we have any other local Newport news? I don't think we do. Well, there is a middle school, high school band concert on Thursday, 6 and 7. I guess that's how it works. 6 is the middle school, 7. I have a zoning board meeting, but I'll be there for at least a little bit of it because
The band teacher spoke about Brianna last night, and he told a story, and it kind of speaks to the maturity. And he said he said like 4 of his top students, and I think of his band students, on the story that he was telling, were up. 3 out of the 4 were up on stage, but he said that right before Christmas break, Brianna had said, I probably should grab my flute or my instrument. I can't remember if it was a flute, but my instrument today, just in case we have a snow day. And he was like, yeah, good luck with that. You're not getting a snow day. And then it was a snow day. And he said that by 11 a.m., those 4 seniors had driven in, met him there to pick up their instruments so they could practice over the holidays because they knew that that's what his intent was, and they wanted to keep improving. So that just speaks highly of the motivation. I don't know. It was a good time last night, and I recommend that anybody who doubts that there are successes to watch that, because it's a microcosm of the whole high school. But you had Bryce that went through the CTE program for the EMS,
Yep.
EMT with probably Adriano last year
Yeah.
and this year
Yeah.
as well. And I mean, it's just exciting to hear the experiences that they get, doing the different internships for the business students that they did, hearing about that. It's just a good highlight. I recommend checking out NCTV's website for that.
Yeah, check out all that stuff. And, as much as I'll stand up and say, hey, we need to fix this at the school, but also stand here or stand anywhere and say, no, we have great students too, and we have great successes from Newport. And anyone that doubts that, I'll debate you all day long on that. I don't care.
Yeah,
Because
it's just a
it is not the case. A lot of people still have that thought, like, oh, you're from Newport. I'm like, yeah, I'm
and Miss
from
Frickno
Newport. I'm
pointed
proud.
out, she brought an article in. We were gold ribbon schools not too long ago.
Blue ribbon, yes.
Or, yes, sorry.
Yep,
Blue ribbon.
I know what
Gold
you meant,
ribbon's
but
probably
yeah.
Texas, but
Blue ribbon school. Yeah, it was. And
And I think we can get back there. I think we're
I know
on
we
the
can. I know
right
we can.
track.
there's stuff in the works, and I know they're doing a bunch of testing this week, these next couple weeks, whatever.
But you know, it's kind of sad though, because I was sitting there talking to some of the teachers afterwards, and somehow testing came up, but there's still students that are just taking 2.5 minutes to go through it at the high school level.
Yeah.
And I don't think they understand that that reflects on the whole entire town.
Exactly. You're hurting your community. And, you know, I said that to Emilio because it must have been I don't know, whatever test he did at one point, I could tell he did that because, you know, it took him, 50 seconds to get through a section. And I think that was one of the best things. I think it was Miss Martin that implemented it, or someone at the school said, okay, so here's the deal. You're going to do these tests and then we'll go over the results with your parents. And that got a lot of these kids to be like, oh, so it's not just getting shipped off somewhere and you're never going to hear about them. Now it's real. So I feel like a lot of kids are like, okay, we're going to take it more serious. And you still have those kids that just push buttons. And I don't know how to fix that, to be honest with you. But
I'm fully confident that if our student body understood and took the time to answer most, if not all, the questions to the best of their ability, that our test scores would immediately go up overnight.
yeah, I have questions too. Like, I
You know what I mean? Like, I've taught in the school. I substituted out
Right.
at the elementary, the middle school. One time I did it at the middle school because they're a little, it's rough. The seventh graders are brutal.
We should try to.
Well, at least the class I did. I mean, everybody's kind of brutal with a substitute. I mean, you remember back in the day,
Right.
Like, you want a substitute to put a movie on and
Yeah.
sit there and not really do. It's like almost like a break they expect, and then
Exactly.
a guy like me comes in there and is like, pull out your books, turn to page 22. Let's get busy. Kind of throws off their expectations. But yeah, I digress. My point is that the kids, from my personal experience, are better than our test results. And seeing those kids up on stage last night, to bring it back and end the segment, brought it full circle, because there are many students who take things seriously and set goals for themselves and are going to go out there and represent our town well, and hopefully stay, if they're not going off to college, but they stay in the local area and
Right.
make the town better, because they're definitely good citizens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know one of the things for the meeting, like Miss Mitchell said, she's talking about our eighth graders and how she could see they're all trying, because obviously teacher can see that.
Right.
And she's like, the numbers, the scores, she's like, I know the scores went up, the actual score, but it didn't move where they rank or something, because the level, like the bar keeps getting set higher. And like, I really like to know more about that, like, because that's puzzling to me. Like, what's that mean? Is it because, like, what's going on there? So our students are improving, but so is the state raising the bar more and more and more and making it more so it's not realistic? Or
So that fires up citizens to go, and it creates a rift.
I
I
don't
mean, that's pretty nefarious. But
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
and the other thing too is like, and you
I
probably
mean,
could,
that might not be why they're doing it.
Well, no,
they
but-
re-looked at their. I mean, that was kind of a joke, everybody.
Right,
But,
but-
you know, they re-looked at their standards, and they're like, well, we need to raise these up.
right. So I'm just curious, what's going on there? And then also, I would love to get a copy of, and you probably could make this happen if I potentially, anyways. Is, let's get a third grade. Like third grade would be a good. That's the first year they test, I think. Let's get that test. Like, let's.
We could probably find a sample test online,
like,
but I
let's-
can't get that test.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we could get the test, because I'm curious.
Nor
what's on
would
it.
I do that.
But no, but I'm more.
I know,
I'm curious what's on it. Like,
Well,
what
didn't
questions?
someone say that like the four of us, or the 4 or 5 of us board members, would have a hard time with some of the questions at certain levels? Like, they're just.
Right.
Was it Miss Mitchell that said that, or I think maybe one of the teachers said
maybe.
that? Because they had that one show.
Yeah, I mean, you're smarter than
than fifth
was it
grader,
fifth
or
grader?
fourth grader, whatever it was.
Yeah, fifth grade, I think it was. Which, yeah, I mean, I get some of it, but I'm just curious, like, what are the questions? You know what I'm saying? So is it basic stuff, or is it, you know what I'm saying? It just, I'd be curious, because we're judging these kids based on that, but none of us have seen the test either.
Yeah, I'm not judging the kids.
Well,
I'm-
not judging them,
the
but
process.
we're
Like,
judging the results, I guess.
Well, there's a lot of information over the last few years that have said standardized tests are not that good.
Right.
That they don't really. I know personally there are people who immediately go into fight or flight syndrome
Yes.
on a standardized test. So you have the ones that flip through it real fast, and then you have the others that are like, even on a test that's not going to affect their grade, but it's a standardized test, and it's timed or just puts stress on you, and some people don't react well to that stress.
Right. No,
There's lots of things that go on, so I'm not.
some people are good at testing, some people aren't. I was never good at testing. Um, and then it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of the downside of CTE is, so with CTE, you typically need to test not as well because a lot of those kids do CTE, which is more of a hands-on process, which for me, I'm a hands-on learner. Like you're someone that looks stuff up and it's just, that's kind of how you learn. For me, it's more hands-on, like show me how to do it. Okay, cool. Now I can do it. So that actually kind of is hard for our results too, because we have that and we have a lot of hands-on learners. So that's some of it as well, so that's part of it,
Yeah, it's interesting.
But like you said, and we've said many times, we'll keep saying that we have some great students in our community, some real high achievers that, like I said, that the one winning out of 37,000 people, being one of 300, that's
That speaks highly
huge. That's awesome.
of her accomplishments and her ability to communicate in written form, all important skills that we all need at some point in our life.
And they didn't thank the actual teachers, but I know that she had help from teachers.
Yeah, I think they said there were 3 or 4 that sat down and proofread and
because it's a big thing. Like if it's not right on, it's just gonna get tossed. And
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Like if the instructions say to do it in this format or this way and you don't, you're automatically tossed out. They don't even look at it. You could be the smartest, brightest, a genius, but if you don't put it in the right order, if you don't answer the question, like after the first essay, if you haven't answered the question, within the parameters they set, they toss it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's impressive. Congratulations, Adrian.
Yes, congratulations, and congratulations all the top 10 and all the class of 2022.
Yeah, amazing accomplishment with 2 years of discord.
Yeah, absolutely. Going, full steam ahead now, and graduation's coming up. I think there's only 18 days of school left at this point. So I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. Sometimes I'm like, yay, and then other times, like, that just means more kids in my house, like, all the time. Not that I'm home very often, but and sometimes it's easier, though, because it's like, hey, can you help with this? It just really depends on the day, of course, but my house is a zoo.
Yeah.
I run a zoo.
Mine's not. Nobody likes to come over to the Morris household.
I know, because
It's too quiet.
No, because so I'm here a lot. Obviously, we do the show here, doing the garden stuff, and it's gotten to the point where I'm here so much that it used to be your wife would come home and be like, "Steve, why didn't you do this?" And now she looks at both of us and says, "Why didn't you guys do this today?" I'm like, "How did I get looped into this?"
Hold me accountable.
Tim, why aren't you having him do this?
Accountability and responsibility. Isn't that what we always say?
Yes.
Nikki's an expert at it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Twitter, Musk. There's a couple things on here. So it's funny, there's a story, and it says, this is like this leaked video from
Project
Veritas. And basically it's the senior engineer of Twitter, and he says, "We are commie as F." And basically he says that ideologically it doesn't make sense, like, because we're actually censoring the right and not the left. And but this guy, like, basically just more of what Musk had said about Twitter. And I saw it was kind of funny, getting in our Let's Go Brandon segment. So another report, nearly half of Joe Biden's 22.2 million Twitter followers are spam bots, which is kind of
like our show.
It's kind of like our show, but, I'm okay with it, I guess, for now.
See, I'm not. I like to know exactly how many we're reaching.
Well, I think in time it'll help us reach more people, like legit people. Because I know, like, this morning I was like, oh, he had 700 something views. But it's nice because around bedtime, 10, 11, 12, whatever, I'll look at it. And I think yesterday we were like 30 views or something like that, 35 views, whatever, which is about a consistent. So I think those are real people. Then after that, it's just like a spam bot thing. I'm sure it is. That's just what it is. But I thought that was hilarious that Mr. 81 million votes, 80 million votes is half of his Twitter followers are spam bots. And then Musk is talking about kind of the Twitter connection. Musk's talking about ineffective Biden, Democrats controlled by lawyers and unions, which we've also heard a lot about that in the past. And yeah, good times.
I thought it was intriguing that Elon Musk said that whoever controls the teleprompter controls the presidency.
Yeah.
It's pretty. powerful words coming from
Well, especially this president.
a businessman that's
Yeah.
and I also saw, I don't know if it was a YouTube video or if it was an article I read, because I sit there and go down rabbit holes sometimes, but anyway, last night it basically said that with Elon trying to buy it, forcing them to admit that a lot of it's fake and controlled, and it's basically to try to get you to see only one side of a view. That if the government were trying to do that, because the government's had hearings on this ad nauseum all throughout,
Right. Even though
like
do
the
nothing
last
about it,
5 years,
right.
and they just talk about it.
Yeah.
But with him and money being involved and capitalism being involved, more action will be taken against Twitter for their allegedly dubious ways of conducting business, because the SEC, which you know allegedly that will, but because money is involved and it's not the government doing a 7 year study on this, that it'll bring out change quicker to Twitter if it is in fact the case that it's all manipulated and it's not organic conversations and followers and everything else.
Yeah, and that's what.
Because they had said originally it was like 5%. They estimate being bots, or less than 5%, and I think even Elon said, I think it's more around like 20. It's looking like.
Yeah.
Which,
So
if that's the case, it's not as valuable as I offered.
right, and I was listening to a financial show yesterday, and this guy is like, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if Musk actually even intends on buying this, or if he's just smart and he's just trying to make like open everyone's eyes to what's going on, because the reason it's stalled out too, it sounds like it's like, all right, it's not worth 44 billion if you've got 20% are just fake accounts,
Right.
and I'm starting
And
to
it's
think
not an
that's
organic
right. It's just,
conversation going on.
right.
It's controlled.
It's all controlled. We know it's controlled. I mean, look at all the fact checkers on Facebook. You can't say anything without, oh, it's, it's gotten better ever since I went to court and had to admit under oath that fact checkers were just opinions. But once again, they have protections. If you took their protections away, we wouldn't have this issue, because then you could sue them because they're a platform. They're not a publisher. They're not allowed to actually you can't take content and fact check it. You can't do any of that. You're a publisher. Or excuse me, you're a platform where I can put my information on. If you're a publisher, now you're subject to lawsuits and everything else, because now your actions are biased to whoever you think, right? So if I own Facebook and I'm like, well, no, all the conservatives, I'm gonna fact check, I'm gonna say this is false, blah blah blah, but I don't do it on the other side. Well, now you're a publisher, and now I can sue you for whatever.
I like free speech, because
Right. That's the way it should
like
be.
when you go off on a Tim rant, right? Then people are just gonna be like, I don't want to associate with that guy, because that's what free speech is intended for. Because they may hear
That's
how
cool.
you say something and be like, I don't want to be around that guy. And you, obviously, because you're a free speech guy, you care but you don't care, right? Sorry but
Right.
not sorry. Like, this is just how I feel, and that's what free speech allows. It allows you to freely associate with who you want to associate with.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
But if
so,
I'm sitting here and I'm controlled in everything that I say and everything else, then you don't really know anything about me.
but when you control the narrative, then it's easy to control the people. So this is a whole thing I want to like pissed about, and it's tough for me because when I get pissed, I swear, and I obviously some swears like pissed at like, but I'm trying to like not use F. I don't want to use F word stuff on the show.
You don't need to cuss to
So
get your point across.
it's a lot harder for me because that's just not normal for me. Because normally I would, you know how I am. Like
No, I can cuss like a sailor. I was in the
Yeah.
military, so I'm
it's hard because
fully aware of. Like, even when we went on, or I went on Steve Smith's show. Did we go on that together, or
yeah,
No, I think I went on. We went on separately when we were running for the school board.
we did do that separately. Yeah.
And so
That's
he had
right.
said something before we went on air. He's like, whatever you do, make sure you don't cuss. And I was like, oh my God, was I sitting here cussing the whole time? Like, then he got me paranoid. Like, I thought I wasn't. I thought I was being professional, because that's professional
Yeah,
to
no,
not swear. But sometimes
it's hard. Yeah,
it's hard. But he was like, no. He's like, I was just making sure. He's like, I just want to warn everybody, because there are rules and everything. I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, because I've gotten way better at it as going to public meetings and stuff like that. So sometimes when I talk slower, it's just because I'm thinking to take out the bad words that I would normally say to put my point across. So yeah, it's it's hard to, but I'm trying to do. Like I said, I don't want people to turn off the show because of language. You probably turn the show off because of my opinion, but which is fine. I honestly, I don't care if it offends you. Just like if you're doing something that offends me, as long as you're not hurting someone else, then be you. Do whatever you want to do, man. You can sit out there and love Joe Biden, do whatever you want to do. You be you. But so the whole point
I mean,
is,
his approval rating is like 39% allegedly.
yeah, but I've heard this for like a year, and there's no way in hell it's still freaking 39%. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way 39% of the people in this country actually think he's doing a good job.
I don't think so.
There's no way.
No, it can't be that high. That's got to be.
So I want to talk gas prices again. We kind of talked about this yesterday, and then I was listening to a radio show, and they're like, yeah, they're gas companies are trying to figure out how they're going to like add another digit into the board because the board will only go to $9.99, which means then they plan on having like $10 gas. And then I saw that. And
Well,
then,
if you recall, during the election cycle, then President Trump had said something along the lines of, "You got $2 gas right now under Joe Biden. It'll be $7, $8, $9."
Right.
And then they're going to try to tell you just don't drive. You don't need a car.
it's kind of funny. It seems to be happening already.
I know. You can look that up. That's not me being a
No, you played it
Trump
before we
fan.
come on the
Yeah,
show.
I know. Just so you know that I wasn't making it up.
Well, no, I know you weren't anyways, but
But
so,
you know what I mean? It's out there. He said it.
so the report comes out that U.S. gas prices could double soon amid potential supply shortage, which we know that's a bunch of crap. There's no shortage of anything. But it's funny because when Biden
It's a self-induced shortage because we
Right.
stopped. You brought it up
You
last
shut down
week.
the
We
Keystone
shut
Pipeline
that down. They
on
let
day one.
3 leases go offshore.
Yeah, this is all on purpose because they want you to buy electric cars, which are maybe part of the solution, but is not the solution. We don't have the infrastructure for it. Musk, who sells electric cars, literally said you need to be producing more oil because this isn't sustainable. But this dude doesn't care because he doesn't care. He's a moron.
I don't necessarily think that's the why, though. I think it's because there is a
They're trying to push their agenda, and they don't care what it does to this country whatsoever. So if they want to push their Green Deal, where it's all green energy, well, the problem is, it's like, for instance, windmills. They're not effective. They're a waste of money because it costs more money and resources to build them out of steel, oil, all the different things, and then they require so much maintenance to keep them running that they never even pay for themselves. But we all feel good about that, right? Because they're like, oh, but it's green energy. Like most of these programs you look at, it's all just to make someone feel better about themselves. Like, oh, we're doing a good job.
There's a lot of self-indulgence.
Right. So if you want to use less oil, why don't you make rules that say that appliances have to last for 20 years like they used to, instead of 30 months if you're lucky.
36 months and 2 days, whatever the warranty,
Yeah.
manufacturer warranty is.
And all the plastic we use and everything else. But no, so what do you think is going to happen? So gas goes to $10 a gallon. No one will be able to drive.
And then they're going to go ask the government for help, which is
Right. And we'll
no
print
one
more,
should
and we can
ask the
print.
government for help. The government should not be your means of
Right, but then we can
survival,
print more money, which will cause more
unless
inflation.
it's fighting a war to protect you.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But so if gas gets to $10 a gallon, diesel will be what, 15? Everything in this country is brought by a diesel truck. Your food, your
I'm
clothes,
going to have to put some security
everything.
cameras on my garden. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. But what's the end game here? Destroy the country as fast as we can? Because I would not make a good president, and say, I don't know enough stuff to be president. I have opinions, but I couldn't get in there and destroy the country as fast as this dude is, who's been in Washington for 40 years. You can't actually do this unless it's on purpose. It's not possible. Our border's wide open. Doesn't matter. Formula shortage, known about that since February, but now we're gonna talk about that now.
They're going to negotiate the reopening through the FDA.
The dude walks off. He doesn't know where. It takes the Easter Bunny to come over and stop him from talking, because if you let him talk, he'll just ramble on because he doesn't have a clue. Like, he should be in a nursing home.
Well, that's what it appears like.
Yeah, it should be in a nursing home. But this is the president of the United States of America who doesn't know where he is.
He's not.
You give him ice cream and he goes out and does his tasks, and people are like, well, yeah, it's a perfect like Alzheimer's patient. Like we're looking at elderly abuse in front of our very eyes, and it's like, oh, it's okay though, it's okay. So at what point do people in this country stand up and say, I've had enough, you're destroying our country and everything we stand for, everything.
It would be good for all of us to pull out the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and remind ourselves what this country was founded on, and decide, yeah, that's what I believe. I mean, it baffles me how quickly the world has changed. It seems like maybe
Yeah.
it didn't change quickly. Maybe it's been ongoing, and all of a sudden now with these policy decisions, whatever. I mean, it baffles my mind that, like, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. I don't want to rely on anyone. When I was 17, I moved out of my parents' house. Right, like I was going to be a man at 18, according to voting laws. I can vote at 18, but I can't buy beer until I'm 21. I can join the military and ask to go and protect my country, but I can't have a beer. Like, these are things that have always concerned me because it's almost hypocrisy.
Yeah. Well,
If
then,
you are old enough to go be put in harm's way to die for something that you believe in, you should be able to have a beer.
yeah, I agree. So let's think about
And
it.
I'm not even a big, I can enjoy a good drink or three, but at the same time, I got it. It helps save lives, allegedly, according to the national highway data, that bumping that age up. Uh, but again, if we're going to give them the responsibility to vote,
Well, they want to make that 16. Let's lower it. Let's get some more uninformed voters in there. Because he did get 80 million votes. So I'm just curious where all the Biden people are. They're riding with Biden people. I'm wondering where they are, because it's funny because during election season you see all these people, but I haven't seen anything. Anyone come on, sit here and tell me all about the achievements of Joe Biden as president of the United States. It'll be a short segment.
yeah, I can't really argue with you there. I'm
No,
not going to try to. There's the country has been going downhill, and to segue into what I had mentioned to you about this treaty with the World Health Organization that's supposed to be reviewed, and was it next week or the end of this month, where basically I think 190 countries have said they're going to sign on, which gives the World Health Organization control over what you and I can do if they declare a pandemic with their Bill Gates funded germ team. And that's an acronym. I'd have to look it up, and I don't have it in front of me. But basically, it's like a dystopian sci-fi movie coming to life before our eyes. And this is, you can go look this up. I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating it. This is all, it's out there for you to find. But when I was growing up, when I was studying American politics, I despised the United Nations, because who are they to try to come in here and tell our country what to do?
no, we're a sovereign country. We don't answer to anybody.
Well, that'll
Nor
be
will I ever answer
your
to anybody.
individual sovereignty, if this
Yes.
treaty is signed, will be taken away, because the World Health Organization can say, Tim Beard, you can't leave unless you're vaccinated, you have a mask on, and you have a vaccine passport so we can track you.
Yeah, that's funny because
The World Health Organization, not even the United States government. I have issue with either one of them trying to tell me that, because what? Like, provide for the common defense and provide infrastructure between the states, federal government. You know what I mean? It just drives me crazy. Sovereignty is important. It's the guise of which we have invaded other countries for is to protect their sovereignty, or we fought wars on others' behalf to protect their sovereignty as a nation, and then we're going to sign over our individual rights. So, organization that we didn't elect, that we have no really say over as citizens and individuals, of who's in charge, is now going to decide what individual freedoms you get because they've declared a pandemic.
yeah, I don't think so.
That's crazy. Like,
I think the
I don't
shirt
care
says it
which party
perfectly.
you identify with. Like, that is against the American values of individual liberty and the sovereignty of our own country. Like,
Yeah, and if you want to live in a
not even
country,
really debatable. Like,
no,
I get it. Like, you want People want to be touchy, feel good. Everybody like perpetrates lies and everything else to each other. Just be honest and tell the truth. You don't like me? Okay, fine. That stinks because I don't necessarily want people to not like me, but don't pretend that you like me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me things are going to make me feel good and then go behind me and subvert me.
I've said it for a long time. If you don't like this country, then move the hell out. It's real simple. Because this
That's
is
not
the
that
way our
simple,
country is,
'cause,
though.
I mean, where are they going to go?
Well, that'd be their problem, right? They want to live in a socialist country. Go live in one. Go live in Cuba. See how
They're
they
not
like
going
that.
to do it. They always
they're not.
say every time
Just
there's
like
an
all these-
election, all these liberals from
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood, I'm
Gonna
leaving
move.
if a
Yeah.
Republican wins, and
Yeah,
they
that's
never
funny.
leave.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's just hyperbole. Is all it
it just
boils
comes
down to.
at what point are the people in this country going to say enough's enough? I mean, you're already a domestic terrorist if you go to a school board meeting all, pissed off because you don't like something. So that was the Biden administration. You can look that up all day long. And that was Mayor Garland, who was in charge of the DOJ, who sent a memo to the FBI, although he denies it under oath, but there's proof of that. And then yesterday, Biden got to take advantage of a crisis. So the whole Buffalo shooting over there, where they're trying to blame it, he's a Republican when he actually doesn't. He's not with any party. He's just a nut job that should have been locked away years ago, and they knew
He
about
should have
him.
been given help. Yeah, I mean,
Whatever. I don't.
yeah, he should have been given help, and then
Yeah, help locked away somewhere in a rubber room. That's where they should have put him. That would have been a safe
I
place
mean,
for him.
yeah.
But no, me and you though are domestic terrorists. We are threats to the United States because we believe in the United States and how the Constitution was written.
I just believe in the Constitution exactly, and our history shows that we are a strong country that does good things sometimes, and sometimes we do bad things.
United we stand, divided we fall, and that's exactly what they're trying to do is divide us.
Divide us. Like that's why, like I said, I don't want necessarily people to hate me. It stinks if they do, but at the same time,
Listen,
we
Democrats.
can agree to disagree on certain things. But there are certain things like the sovereignty of my choices over my body.
Well, that's only if you're abortion.
Yeah,
So that's okay. But if
there was a quote.
you
or
need to put the
something
needle
like-
in your arm, though.
I don't know if it was like a Hollywood director or somebody had said something along the lines that basically you convince yourself of enough lies that it's you know what I mean. Like you don't find the truth out, and so it's easier to not know the whole truth and believe something than to find out the truth, and the truth is against what you fundamentally thought you believed, and you find out something, you're like, wait, what?
Right.
This isn't true. Can't be true.
No.
They would never sign away our sovereignty. I checked that out.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I don't think I am.
No. They all should be tried for treason because every one of them. They've sold this country out a long time ago, and they continue to sell this country out at a rapid rate. And you could tell that by the fact that
Our gas prices.
you're not a
are-
country without borders, and the border's wide open. It's like, whatever. It would cost billions to build that wall. Well,
I'm
that's
pretty
funny.
sure I learned the definition of a country at one point in time, or a nation. I can't remember, but it was basically distinguishable borders,
Exactly.
sovereignty over their decisions.
Right.
Like that's what makes up a nation state.
But so your gas. So go back to gas prices. Gas prices are that high. They're going to get even higher from everything you read, see, whatever. Yet we have an extra $40 billion that we're going to send over to Ukraine because they're fighting a war. And at this point, we've given them more money than the Russian military has for a budget. Just us, not the other countries. They have all these weapons, whatever. But it's funny because you don't really hear much about that war anymore. It's like the distraction's kind of over and like whatever.
Well, they had
And let's face it, if Russia was really going to take the country, they would have already taken the country because they talked about how they're going to take the capital city in like 2 days, and all of a sudden it's dragged on. Come on, man. Like, how can you
there's just
believe
some-
anything? How can you believe any of it anymore? And
well, yeah,
people,
just question the narrative
Right.
would be my. Just find your own. You know what I mean? Like the truth is out there somewhere.
Right.
And the truth may not be what we want to hear, and that's the problem in America today. Anyway, from my perspective, is people run from the truth.
Yeah.
You're not a cat. You are a human being.
right. So if you love your gas prices how they are, and you wait till
That was
winter,
in reference to people now thinking that they're cats and want to be treated. They want me to play along with their fantasy that they're a cat. Like that's your fantasy. Good for you. Go be a cat, but not on. I don't
Oh.
have to recognize it because you're not a cat.
I saw that is a perfect meme of the day right there. So there was this thing the other day, and I shared
Like,
it.
that's just a sample of the
Well, no,
ridiculousness
this
of
is
this not
perfect.
being truthful with people.
You have people that are furries, which mean they think they're animals. So that dogs, cats, whatever. So this person's like, okay, that's fine. When you should go spend a week in the I don't know, the pound eating dog food and cat food, and we'll see how much you like being a furry then. Like, you can't. We
But
probably don't
that's
want to
my
get into
point,
the
though.
debate
Is
right now.
people are afraid to say, no, you're not an animal. You are actually a
Right.
human. You walk
Because
on
you're too
2
afraid
feet.
to hurt someone's feelings. Well, screw your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care if this conversation hurts your feelings. Don't listen. It's real simple. It's real simple. Don't listen. You can think
But
I'm
how?
like,
I don't understand this. I have to recognize your fantasy now.
right. Like there was a story and I was,
So I always want to be a comedy writer. So I'm a comedy writer now. So let's put
Right.
that on the credits as Steve Morse comedy writer. And I'm
Right.
probably not even that funny. I used to be funny, but I have a very dry sense of humor.
there was a story and I wasn't going to mention it, but I'm going to mention it because it fits this perfectly, but it was in Australia, which apparently everything's upside down there. But so this man in women's lingerie came to a museum and let him go in and play with kids with like Legos. And I'm like, because, we didn't want to offend him or anything. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So you let some freaking pedo go in there with
Allegedly,
kids.
you don't know that he's a pedo, but he's oddly,
Then he
his
can
behavior is odd.
Then the dude
It's
can
odd
sue me.
behavior.
I'm in the United States. He's in Australia. You can sue me. Good luck. You can have a freaking tractor.
Not me.
No, me, Tim Beard.
No, but I'm not trying to justify by any means. I'm just saying I don't know that. I mean, that's weird behavior. Like I would,
think?
like, why would you show up as an adult to a museum? You're just looking for attention.
Me and you would get arrested. Indecent exposure, whatever. We would get arrested. But if you identify as that, you're fine. You can do whatever you want. No,
I mean, what does he
I don't buy
identify?
that crap.
Lingerie wearer that likes to build Legos in museums,
Right.
unfettered.
With little kids.
Like, what happened to the rules? The rules
The
don't
rules
apply
only-
to everybody.
No, they only apply to one side, and that's the right side of the country or the conservative side of the country.
I don't even think
or
I'm
the
conservative.
people
I
that
think I'm in the middle.
yeah.
Even with you, talking with you, if when you're not fired up, you have views on both sides that would be considered both sides of.
Yeah, no, I do.
You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, right now, the
Yeah, I'm
country
just
is in a
pissed off.
bad place.
And at the end of the day, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I love the founding of this country and everything else about this country. And I plan on not living in some other
Yeah,
country.
we have some bad things that have occurred in the lifetime of our country, but
Yeah,
that doesn't.
and so
mean
does
that
every
we-
other country.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Genghis
every
Khan
society-
killed how many people? How much genocide happened there? How much all that stuff? But do we condemn those countries now that we're no? It's all right.
No, we study it and learn how and why he did it and
Yeah, and why we should be better, right?
why he was successful, how he was successful.
Yeah. It's history.
I mean, it's bad.
But let's erase it
It's
because
bad, though.
it hurts
You know what I
my
mean? Like-
feelings,
like
though.
killing that many people. Like, why? We're a brutal species sometimes.
Yeah. And now we're just becoming
Now we're just living in
dumbed
fantasy
down to the
land, yeah.
fact that we just let it happen. It doesn't matter. You want to dress up as a furry and walk around in school, that's okay. Well, it's all right. You want to put it on women's lingerie and go to a freaking children's museum and play Legos with kids, that's okay.
That's not okay.
That wouldn't be okay. You do that with my kid, you'll find out. You'll see a different side of me. Like, I protect my kids, and that's just the end of the story. And
Everybody.
you do
should
whatever you want to
yeah.
do, but so done. Like, I told you yesterday, I'm like, this is gonna be a fired up show, and hey, you don't want to listen to the show, don't listen to the show. It's real simple. But these are the facts of our country, and if you want to look at that and actually start to wake up and be like, huh,
Yeah, I mean,
maybe $10 a gallon gas is not good for the country. Maybe I'll go out and buy a $60,000 electric car that won't work in the winter, where they have to store the batteries in bomb shelters because if anything happened to them, they'll catch on fire. Because that's the alternative right there. When none of these morons in Washington
you have
drive
to pay
electric
to
cars.
get it installed. I think some cars come with that as a option or whatever, but you got to have a.
Yeah, my $582 light bill over the winter, I can only imagine what that would be with my electric car, because that's going to be better, right? But who's going to buy an electric car when gas is $2 a gallon? But if we can make it $10 a gallon, maybe then you'll buy electric cars. No, I still won't buy an electric car. Won't happen. I don't need your crappy junk electric car. You could make my truck run better and more miles a gallon. My 81 Chevy gets the same fuel mileage as my 2016 Chevy truck. But all the technology we have, I mean, we can send a man to the moon, allegedly. We can send rockets in outer space and land them on a little pad now the size of this table. We can do that. We have drones that can do anything. We can, I mean, you know, you're in the military, you know things you can't even tell me about. But we can't make my truck get better fuel mileage. Our country used to be able to do anything. During World War II, when all the men went off to fight the war, women went into factories and they were making all this stuff, which, oh, you couldn't do that. Yeah, we could, because as a country, this is
came
what
together.
happens.
Yeah,
We
came
unite
together.
and we do what we have to do. We've lost that as a country. We forgot about that as a country. And now we're just letting a bunch of clowns, literally clowns, run our country into the ground, and our congressmen and women stand back and do nothing. So if Jeanne Shaheen and Maggie Hassan are so happy with the direction this country's going, then they should come to New Hampshire, face their residents, and we love our almost $5 a gallon gas, and you should sit here and tell us how great that all is. Because I don't see you do anything in Washington, and I don't care what Jeanne Shaheen's office has done for Newport, which there's been a lot of it, because it's her job. Because that's her job as a congresswoman, to go there and rally for our state and do what's best for our state. That's a job. Just like if you're a plumber, your job is to fix my plumbing. That's a job. That's not, oh, she's so great. No, maybe your plumber's a nice guy, whatever. That's different, but it's your job. So you're going to tell me all 100 of these senators in Congress are like, oh, or in the Senate, or they're all like, oh, yeah, we're going to just go with this. That's cool. $5 gas, $10 gas, it's all right. No worries. We're still getting our money from big corporations that just dump the money in our pockets.
Look, there was a time in this country when they had a mask mandate back in like 1918.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look it up, the reason why they stopped wearing masks is because photos came out of the quote unquote elite in Washington or Hollywood or both not wearing their gauze mask that they were telling everybody else they had to wear for the greater good. And so people said, you're not wearing it, I'm not wearing it. Like, you set the example. You want to call yourself a leader. You're going to go and get your hair cut without a mask on. You're going to go eat $10 ice cream out of your fridge and tell us all that life is good and everything else, while everybody's like, small businesses were being like forced closed during the COVID pandemic. It baffles my mind that people don't go and say, you set the example, you're not doing it, I'm not doing it, don't ever ask me to do it again, because it obviously, if it's not so important that you can do it, then it's not important that I do it. We're the exact same. Like, you're no better than me. Like, there's no sliding scale of, well, you know, because I'm a congressman or woman, I don't have to do this. Yeah, you do. You should anyway.
Right. We're not.
If you want to inspire and motivate people, you got to walk the walk and you got to talk the talk.
Exactly.
And we all, don't get me wrong, like, we all make mistakes. Like, okay, all right, you had your mask off one time. If it's one time, that's one thing. But every time there's a picture taken of you at a function, you don't have a mask on, but all the wait staff have masks on.
Right.
Like that, I have an issue with that.
No, they're above us. They're better than us. So we're not being governed anymore. We're being ruled. And this country is a constitutional republic. It's we the people. But we the people have forgotten that it is we the people, that they represent us. We don't
they've
answer
done a
to
good
them.
job of hoodwinking the public.
Yes. We don't answer to
From
them.
my perspective,
They answer
my
to
opinion.
us. And it's funny because Pelosi's on tape yesterday, I
This
think it
might
was.
be our last show after
Whatever.
the AI picks up on all your
I'll still sit here and do this just for me and you's purpose. Sit here and
Talk to
complain
each
about
other
the-
as therapy?
I don't care. So yesterday, Pelosi's like, "Oh, there needs to be an investigation, and we're going to look into this baby formula thing." And I'm like, "Oh man, you misspoke there, because the Biden administration's known about it since February when they shut the plant down." And according to Joe Biden, it's the Federal Drug Administration. It's not the Food and Drug Administration. Because, once again, the guy that's been in Congress or in Washington for 40 years doesn't even know that. Isn't that amazing? But I would love it. I challenge Nancy Pelosi. Let's get to the bottom of the formula crisis and how it wasn't handled
I'm gonna
properly.
be devil's advocate, because we've all misspoken, right? What if he just misspeaks every once in a while?
What,
Like when we were talking about the
every
rec
day?
center, you said 75% one morning instead of 75 cents or 74 cents, whatever it was. But because you were it's different when you have a camera in front of you. It's a little stressful, even though it's just me and you sitting here talking, but you know that you're being recorded. And
So you think a professional for 40 years that's been in Washington misspeaks? Because
no, I'm
politicians don't misspeak. Everything they say is very, very calculated. Because if you say the wrong thing, you're going to eat crow, and you're going to have to figure out, oh crap, how do I get out of it?
well, yeah, but we're all human. We all make mistakes. But I'm just saying, from a devil's advocate, right? So we see these clips, and maybe that's just to get
You're
us
right.
to believe a certain thing. I'm just
Maybe
saying,
hundreds of clips about Joe Biden not being able to carry a sentence on, and he would read anything on the teleprompter, like what is that, Anchorman,
Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. I'm telling you right now, I so wish someone would do that, because I'm telling you right now, you could put anything on that teleprompter and he would read it, anything, because he doesn't even know what freaking planet he's on anymore.
Strong words.
Yep.
I don't know that I'd go that far. I'd know that what's going on is horrible, and something needs to change. Like policy direction needs to change. Proliferating, yeah,
All I got to say
proliferating lies
is,
is not helping anybody. By
if
telling others that yes, you're a cat and meow, whatever, let me get you a saucer of milk, like Super Troopers
so, all I got to say is
jumping from trees,
They
all
talk-
bimbly like.
all about this red wave thing, and at the direction we're going, I can't see how any Democrat could ever manage to take office again, to be honest with you. But
Well,
So if
even
they
with
take-
the alleged red wave, are they?
well, no, that's what I'm saying. They better, if you're red wave and all these Republicans get in there, you better do your damn job, because I don't care what side you're on. I don't. And a lot of people think that, like, oh, this pissed off Republican, blah blah, Trump supporter, blah. No, so you misunderstand. You don't understand me. I am an American. I believe in this country. I don't care who the puppet head is up there running it. If you're going to run it bad, I'm going to come after you just like I would anyone else. So it's not, oh, it's because you don't like Democrats. No, I don't like the things Democrats do, but there's also things I don't like Republicans to do. And so when I say I hate all politicians, I'm not joking. Anyone that goes there and doesn't represent us and do their job, I don't like you. You shouldn't be there. End of story. And so when all these Republicans allegedly take office in November, you better do your job and you better get this country back on track, or we'll make sure that you're not elected next time either, because I don't care who you are. Do your damn job, or go back to your state and face your, face
It
your
goes back to that
constituents.
age-old debate. Do you have an educated class that knows better than you, or can you and I get elected and go up there as, quote unquote commoners or whatever, and do a better job? And I would say yes, because I would go there and be like, I don't care about that.
I think Trump proved that, and the direction the country was going and how good it was. And he was an outsider. He wasn't political at all. And I don't care if you don't like Trump. I've had this conversation with many people. I know many people don't like Trump. He's an a-hole. I get it. I agree with you. But the reality is, he came in for 4 years, allegedly lost another election to this well-educated, amazing president we have now. 80 million people voted for, allegedly. And so he showed, first of all, the swamp we live in. And it's funny because it's not just, he didn't just show the Democrats in Washington. Like, he literally showed every one of them.
Every one of them.
And he shined a light on them. So, and then everything this dude says, everything, if you wait long enough, it comes true.
It seems like it.
Like, I seriously can't find things where he didn't say something and then it came true. And so, like I said,
It almost makes you think.
I don't know. Like, seriously, gas prices. He's just talked about that, like, during the election. So almost 2 years ago, he talked about it. And then you look at the direction we're at right now. There's so many things that he said, and here we are.
Well, yeah, and some of that is you can look at their policies, and he is a bit like I was telling you earlier. You give me and you two different problems, right? Like,
Right.
I have my college degrees, you have your high school and your hard knocks life of being a business owner. You're going to solve a problem differently than me, and if it involves money and business transactions, you're going to blow me out of the water. It doesn't matter how educated I am, especially in that case, because I have no business training whatsoever. The government's a nonprofit, so even the things that I know, I can go in and I can look at a government, the way it functions, a lot easier than I can a business. And you bring a different set of, a skill set that I don't have, and that if people can't recognize that we all have differences and we're not all the same and we all can't do everything exactly the same because that's kind of the way the country's going. And it's like, oh, you're all special. No,
No,
we're
no, you're not.
you're, it's special that you're alive and that you're here on this earth and you get an opportunity to do something. That's special. Everything else after that's what you make of it.
Yeah, you're special in a sense that your fingerprints aren't like anybody else's. Your DNA is different. Other than that, you're
Right.
not special.
Right.
You can specialize in something, but
And you're special, hopefully, to your parents or
right,
grandparents, family, and friends. Like
right.
you're special to them, but
They're feeding you a fantasy that you're special. No, you're not special. You're not. End of
I'm
story.
not special. You're not special.
Right.
We
Yeah, my kids to me, my kids are special to me, to their grandparents, to whatever. But when they get out in the real world, you're no different than anybody else.
yeah. What can you do for me right now?
Right. So it's like, oh, it's okay. You're special. No, it's not. Like, everyone gets a trophy. No, everyone doesn't get a trophy because you had a top 10 last night. That was a top 10. They worked hard. They were top 10. And then you have kids that aren't. So those kids got awarded because they were top 10. These kids didn't. Guess what? I was at the bottom of my class. I'm fine. And I'm proud of where I came from because I was at the bottom and I worked my way to the top in real life to the point where I guarantee you I was like top 3 most successful in my class. And how'd you do that? Well, because I worked hard and I just said, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. It doesn't matter who you are. You can get out of school, become successful. You just have to find what you're good at and then do that.
Yeah. Read up on that, whatever it is, and then try to become the best.
But stop thinking you're special and everyone needs to cater to you, and because no one's going to cater to you in the real world. Like, that's the fantasy you're learning right now in school or whatever. You're getting this education there where people are like, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You're acting out in class. You're being a little a-hole. You know what's going to happen in real life? You're going to get fired. Or you're going to do that in real life, you're going to end up in jail, because that's reality. And that's something that needs to change in society, that if you mess up, there's no forgiveness when you're 18 years old. There's no forgiveness for, oh yeah, I was drinking and I drove through the McDonald's building and but Johnny, you're special and you made a mistake, so we're not going to charge you. Nope, they're going to charge you. You're going to go to jail. So why do we keep doing this? We're setting these kids up to fail right from the get-go. You're special. Everyone gets a trophy. Well, no, these kids worked their butts off and they deserve the accolades they're getting. You sat around playing video games, didn't do your homework and whatever. So you get what you work for. End of story.
Yeah. And some kids that, there are others that probably work was more important to them than school too. So I'm not just
Right.
throwing
Which is,
that out,
but it's not necessarily. So yeah, the top 10.
right.
Congratulations.
But, there's different reasons why they're there, but they're there because they met a goal and a standard.
Right. And you got someone like me that didn't care about the top 10, that went to work and did whatever. And I became successful through my path. That was my path. And so, yeah, you can, and no one said, oh, Tim, you're special. It's okay. It's blah, blah, blah. No, I worked for it. And what these kids did was special. This is
And
pretty
you had
cool.
some setbacks, I'm sure, along the way.
A lot of setbacks. Government never bailed me out, never wiped out my college. I don't have any college debt, but they didn't wipe out any of my debts or anything else.
And they shouldn't wipe out
no.
anyone's debt.
You signed up for it. You took it.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for your loans. My kids have loans right now. Or Adriana's student loan. So what, government wiped that out? No, you
That's one of the
signed up
reasons
for it.
why
Man.
Nikki works so hard is because she's
Right.
got to repay her loans.
Yeah.
And that's a large payment every month.
Yep.
Student loans are not cheap. I'd recommend getting scholarships or employer finance college.
Find a smart way to exactly. Find a smart way to do what you want to do, and if someone else will pay for it, do that, because that's smart. That's thinking, and not just I'll go to college. But the school has gotten way better. When I was in school, it was push college. They pushed 4-year school. That's all they did. They pushed every kid that way. It's completely changed now, which I'm very thankful for. There's 3 different paths. There's tech school, there's regular college, and then there's work. And the school accepts that, and they strive to push that. And
And they
I'm
try to
very,
make sure the kids are successful.
I'm
on
very
all 3
happy
paths. Yeah.
because when I was in school, that was not the case, and that is something that has changed. And we should all be thankful that the school has changed that process. That no, you can go to work and be successful. You can do anything and be successful. You don't have to go to college, and I'm glad the school does that now. But so let's end the show on that note. But Jeff Miller's coming up later. You have a meeting later?
I do this afternoon.
So it's going to be me and Miller time, just me and him?
What time's he coming in?
No, he says 1:30, but sometimes that ends up being later.
Yeah, it depends. I have to leave here by like 3:10.
Oh, so you'll probably be here. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a good day. We'll get this up, and then we'll get Jeff Miller's segment up. If you're still
Do your
listening
own
after
research, and
that.
if we're wrong, email us at
Yeah, Tim and Steve Show NH at Gmail, or like us on Facebook. You can message on Facebook.
because I mean, there's so much. I'm telling you, just as a aside, that the AI is pretty smart. So, and you've alluded to it before. Like sometimes you think you get stuff on purpose, like it's
Yeah.
directly feeding it into you. So
Well, now I have
that,
to.
well, I say AI, the algorithm, whatever. So we might be getting a circular feed, and we might be being fooled. I don't think we are, but if we are, let us know. Send us some data that shows us differently that,
Show us all the
that
good things.
these gas prices are good
Yes.
for us as a country.
Yes, and show us all the good things that Joe Biden's done as president. I would love to see them, and I will talk about them on the air and with
Yeah, give them
enthusiasm.
credit. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, have a great day, and yeah, we'll be back later with Jeff Miller. We'll talk some sports and whatever else comes out, and yeah, have a good one. See you next time.